All right, well, welcome back to Geeks Are Sexy. It has been a while since we have done the fourth Friday of the month show. I'm Jason LeDuc from Evil Genius Leadership Consultants. I'm your host talking about business in Las Vegas, success in Las Vegas, and all things you need, whether you're a business owner or not, to build your successful dreams here in Las Vegas. Today, I am here with Emily Wilson. She is a photographer. We met at a First Friday gathering a couple of weeks ago, and Emily and her family moved to Las Vegas about 6 years ago. She, like most of us, are fascinated with the work being done to revitalize the downtown area here in Las Vegas. If you haven't been to Las Vegas in a while, or if you live in Las Vegas, you haven't been to downtown in a while, you definitely need to go check out what's going on downtown, not just under the Fremont Street Experience, which is still a lot of fun, but go a couple blocks east, see what's going on Fremont Street East, and then really take a walk a few blocks down to the Arts District, the 18B Arts District here in downtown Las Vegas, and you'll see a lot of great fun things going on there, a lot of quirky cool little shops, a lot of quirky cool little eclectic bars and that kind of thing. So please check out downtown Las Vegas if you haven't. But Emily, you remain drawn to the aura around doers and dreamers and people who have an entrepreneurial spirit, and that's what we got talking about a couple weeks ago, why I really wanted to bring you on the show. And you're looking to help those who endeavor to make the built world, whether it's a home, a neighborhood, or a community, through your own personal energy and passion. I love that. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So tell us about you. How did you become a photographer? Where did you start out as a kid? Did you always want to be a photographer? What's the story on how you got to where you are today?
Well, so in junior high, I definitely needed an outlet for all the ideas that were in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Was not great at drawing, was not great at painting.
Guilty.
And, ceramics also just kind of plateaued.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, I was able to take a photography class in the 10th grade, and immediately it's like, I love this. But at the same time, parallel to that, I loved art history.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school, all my internships were with curators and museums and galleries. And I went to school for art history, but I always did photography. And then my last year of school, or actually my second to last year, I was in the UK studying. I was taking pictures for the school newspaper, and mainly the live shows that came.
Okay.
And that's when I really was like, okay, I really want to make art and not write about it and curate other people's art.
That's
I
awesome.
want to make my own.
So where were you at in the UK? Because I didn't know you had studied over there.
Oh yeah, so I was at UEA in Norwich.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've been out there.
Yeah, and so
Really quickly, I did some stuff when I was in the Air Force. I did some stuff in the Lake and Heath area, and we had a day off, so we drove out that way just to kind of see what was going on out there.
yeah, so I picked it obviously for its program, but also its proximity to London, which is also the reason why I had chosen UMass to go to, and its proximity to New York. So I could kind of zip down to those urban, amazing places and not have to live there.
Yeah, I grew up in Connecticut, and that's really the one advantage of growing up in Connecticut is that you're not right in the cities. I lived halfway between New York and Boston. It was amazing.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time in both of those as a kid, and then I went to college in Boston. But it's great to be close to the city, but not in the city, right?
Right. But then, of course, like after school, it was either. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to be a professional photographer, and I'll start now trying to assist other photographers. And so after college, it was basically either like LA or New York for that. And so, of course, I'm going to go to New York. And,
Right? Why not?
Went there, and then I worked at a magazine for about a year, and then assisted other photographers, and then started shooting on my own.
Cool. How do you think your art history background, as opposed to like a straight visual graphic arts background, which is what a lot of photographers do, how do you think your art history background helped you as a photographer? How did that help build that foundation for you as an artist?
Well, I think that, that's a really good question. Because
I don't always stick to the ones I gave you ahead of time.
Yeah, so I think that realizing, that all these great artists, painters, they all started with the fundamentals. They all started with the basics, and then they developed their own style and themes, and to going off from there. And so, I think with photography, you need to know the basics.
Okay.
There should be a foundation, and then you build on that. Is if you start off really abstract, you sort of lost that process of getting you to the abstract. So yeah, I think about that like Picasso. I think about that. I've thought about that a lot over my career, and how there's sort of different phases of my own interests, and that's how those great painters were.
That's really impressive. One of the things I've learned as I've started to grow as a public speaker and do more professional public speaking is that those fundamentals are really important. I've had to go back to the ideas of just things like organizing a speech or choosing the right word. So for someone who's thinking about going into the visual arts or becoming a photographer, what are some of those things that you go back to over and over again? What are some of those foundational fundamentals that you would advise everyone to get really strong on?
Well, I mean, the compositions, and I think that I haven't really gotten used to looking at just a screen on the back to make a composition. I still very much look through.
You're a viewfinder. That's how I learned to shoot pictures too.
I'm a viewfinder person, and that's how I do it. And so I think just the basics of composition and light, and then how. With the different f-stops and apertures, there's a different feeling that you get with those settings, within those settings. When your depth of field is shallower, you have sort of like a softer image. If you're way up, f18, f22, it's super sharp.
Yeah.
And it could be really contrasty, and that works for some things, but definitely not.
So if you're using your phone for your Instagram pictures, what I heard here is composition matters.
That's
Even
right.
if you're it still matters. So, and we make a lot of fun of the people who take that picture over and over again on Instagram and try to get it right and try to get the perfect filter. But that's a lot of what you do as a photographer, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
you have a vision of what the shot should be, and you're not satisfied until you get there.
No. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just yesterday I was doing a shoot at the Barrick Museum on the UNLV campus with doing a portrait of a good friend of mine for a magazine, and I caught myself even taking 3 frames of the same composition. I don't think he changed his expression, but it just wasn't exactly right,
Okay.
and so I had to sort of stop myself and do I move a little bit to the left? Do I go up just a little bit? And so
Yeah, the little details that matter when you're doing something like that.
right, and then of course I get distracted because his shirt's wrong. Something's wrong with the shirt, and then I gotta.
Right, like mine
fix it.
right now. I gotta do. They always bunches up here, right?
So but one of the photographers that I assisted early on was a still life photographer.
Okay.
And for as so boring as that could be on a set where you're just moving things ever so slightly, but all of that attention to detail really made a great foundation in the work that I do, and which is portraiture, whether that's a human interest story or just like one shot in an environment. Every little thing is I'm looking at every little detail, and if something's off, I can catch it before having to go back and retouch too much in post.
And that was where our first conversation started about some portraits you had taken. Besides your commercial work, you've actually started to grow into this field of sports photography,
Right.
particularly working with boxers.
Right.
And you talked about you told me and showed me a couple of portraits that you had taken of a boxer before and after his match. Can you tell me about that experience?
So I've always done personal projects. Okay. 15 years ago, for 7 years, I followed some young race car drivers up the ranks from dirt track, one of them up to a NASCAR seat.
Okay.
So I've always been attracted to the journey to the spotlight.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
and it's just been recently that I was able to just put that into one sentence. Like, journey to the spotlight.
Love it. That's the title of your new book.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's so with the boxing, I personally started to box. I was looking for something that would give me mental focus and challenge me and learn something new. So basically at the gym, it's me and a lot of pro fighters.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And you know, all these people are just working so hard, and they're just, the sweat is just pouring off, you know. And so I will just walk up and say, you know, what are you working towards? What do? When's your fight? What's your story? And so I've been able to start to follow about five or so.
And this
six.
is all local here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, all local. 5 or so, 6 fighters, and all at the professional level, all in varying degrees. Some hold titles, some don't. And so I'm working to get pictures of them outside of the ring, outside of the gym. What sacrifices are they making at home? What kind of training are they doing at home? What does the family look like? What kind of sacrifices are they making there? And yeah, I really don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm doing it.
Well, that's the best part of a story like this, is you don't know where it's going to take you, and the story's going to be worth telling no matter what.
That's right. And then what I hope is that, I mean, in this journey to the spotlight, it's applicable to sports, entertainment, a construction site, you know, anything that is, you know, people are working on something that's being built or being worked towards, right? A chef in the kitchen, you know, just all of that behind the scenes stuff. I mean, I had sort of, I guess on my website, it's called Behind the Scenes. But
you have some beautiful. Her website is amazing, and we're going to give you. We're going to take a break here in a minute, but I want you to finish your story. Then because we're going to take a break, and this video is going to go up separately. I want you to tell everybody when you're done your story about how people can reach you, in case they only watch this one segment. Okay. So, but yeah, chef in the kitchen.
Chef in the kitchen. So it really, it's just across the board, and that's what I love. You know, so I have to be sort of careful with how much of the boxing stuff I show, because I don't want it to be like, oh, Emily just does sports now, you know, and it's like, no, not at all. Like, I'm still doing stories of doers, dreamers, entrepreneurs, people who are just really working hard.
Love it. Behind
the scenes. And yeah, one of the ones that I'm going to do just next week is a friend of mine, Pop-Up Pizza, who Mike, who owns Pop-Up Pizza here in Las Vegas. He got #1 pizza in Las Vegas, and then 5th in the country. He just competed in New York, and so I called him up. I was like, Mike, we gotta do, like,
that's a story right there.
I gotta come do a portrait. Like, he has a mentor, so we're gonna do a photo with his mentor as well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are gonna close up this segment real quick, but tell everyone where they can find your website, and tell them how they can reach you, just in case. Don't go anywhere. I'm not saying, I'm giving you permission to leave. I'm not saying you can leave, but if people only see this segment, tell everyone how they can reach you.
Okay, so I actually just launched a new website yesterday, and it is EmilyWilsonPhotography.com. It's always been that, but I just relaunched it.
It is a beautiful website. I spent a lot of time on it last night.
I worked so hard on that. Literally, it took me 3 days, and it is an incredible platform to use. So, EmilyWilsonPhotography.com, and then I'm on Instagram at EWPhoto.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere, because we're going to jump back in. We're a little bit in flux today with our other guests, so we're going to bring Emily back. We're going to talk a little bit more. I don't know what the rest of the show is going to look like, but I promise you'll get to find out within the next few minutes. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be right back with Emily Wilson. This is Geeks Are Sexy. Stay here. Keep watching.
Gene Wood's racing experience named for the racing veteran and 3-time champion, packs big racing action into extremely fast, high-performance karts that let you battle the other competitors side by side, just inches off the ground. Though the Las Vegas Strip provides a glittering backdrop, to the drivers at Gene Wood's Racing Experience, the blinking lights are all a blur. Behind the wheel of the high-performance karts, you'll zip around the half-mile track at speeds faster than other standard racing karts' top speeds. Drivers learn to commandeer the speedy karts through an instructional video before they are let loose onto the curving track for 10 heart-pounding laps. We are located at 121 East Sunset Boulevard in Las Vegas, Nevada.
You know what? It's time to go racing. Let's get her done!
Hi, I'm Daylin Woods. Welcome to Woods Family Sandwiches. I've always had a passion for food. When I lived in England, I owned my own restaurant. Then when we moved back to the United States, an opportunity came to open a sandwich shop, and I just wanted to get back into it. We have here at Woods Family Sandwiches wraps as well as salads and soups. We offer only the finest ingredients to our customers. We have boar's head meats and cheeses. We have fresh bread, fresh produce, great soups daily that we prepare for our customers, kosher whole pickles, Deep River Kettle One chips. We have a variety of wraps, or you can make any sub a wrap, any sub a salad. Come on in for our daily specials. We are located at 931 American Pacific, number 106, Henderson, or call us for your deliveries or pickups at 702-826-2230. Here at Woods Family Sandwiches, we're family owned and operated.
We are looking forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to Geeks Are Sexy. I'm Jason LeDuc from Evil Genius Leadership Consultants, hosting every fourth Friday of the month, taking over for Michelle Davis, who's gracious enough to let me take some of her time on the network each month. So we're back with Emily Wilson, and Emily was taking a couple of behind-the-scenes pictures for us while we were on the break. So if you go to her Instagram page, she's going to have some behind-the-scenes pictures of what's going on in the studio here. And we always tell you how tiny the studio is. You'll really get to see, and you'll actually get to see a real green screen behind us instead of I mean, no, I don't want to break the illusion. This is like we're on an executive suite right now, right? So Emily, welcome back. Thank you for being here today. Please check out Emily's Instagram. What was that Instagram again?
EW Photo.
EW Photo. So please check that out, see the behind the scenes pictures. And so we were talking a little bit about the foundation and how you got started, some of the personal projects you're working on. One of the things I do want to understand, because I'm not a very artistic person, but I understand as a creative and an artist it's important to flex your muscles.
Right.
What are some of the things you do to flex your artistic muscles to keep from falling into the same routines and doing the same things over and over again as an artist?
So, you know, in order to flex your muscles, you need time from the constant assignments, right, and the constant editing. So, towards the end of the summer, I had a little bit of time, and I got my drone pilot license.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this.
And so I got a new Mavic Pro Zoom drone, and I have been having the most amazing time with the video and trying to really capture, get great portraits. And it's just a new tool in my camera bag for you know, capturing things on assignment. And so I've just loved that. And Adobe has sort of a new editing tool. It's called Premiere Rush, and it is just for short videos for the web.
Very cool. That's
so
awesome.
It's perfect. So it's really, in order to sort of like, I think, evolve and grow in anything, you need that time. So whether it's like, I don't know, a few weeks or something to sort of try out something new, you know, and with the drone, yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I really look forward to any day when I've got that kind of magic hour time available.
We'll get you out of here in time for that.
Yeah. So I, you know, we'll have a friend meet me out in the desert and just shoot a lot of stuff and see what happens.
I think that's amazing. Because you literally have shifted your perspective. Not only have you shifted your perspective to something higher and more elevated with the drone, but you've also shifted things in time a little bit because you're not seeing things real time. What have you learned about, like, how do you take pictures differently, or how do you do video differently with that shifted perspective?
I guess I have more of I don't know. I was gonna say I sort of try to think about the shot more. I think because it's video and the person is going to be moving, I think about what the angles are going to be a little more than with a still shoot.
Sure. I mean, going from, we talked about, you started as a viewfinder kid,
right?
With film cameras, viewfinder kid, and now it's all digital, but you're not behind it. You're looking at kind of probably a pretty low res screen, and you're not. You have to shift your mind about what am I really capturing based on what am I seeing on my controls, right? Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I haven't got it dialed in yet. Anybody out there, if you have a Mavic Pro Zoom and you're taking great still photos of people with it, will you please message me, because I'm watching videos and I'm really just, you know, trying to like engage in this whole you know, new realm of the drone stuff, because people all, you know, a lot of clients and they still ask quite a bit, you know, do you shoot video? And I've always said yes, but it takes away from the still photos, you know, it takes away from that process. So this is a way that I have kind of like jumped that, and I'm gonna just make it all my own. So the more video that I shoot, the more of a style that I can create, and then I can say, yes, I do. And here is, you know, here are examples of the way that I shoot that video. It is not gonna be me holding the camera like I would for a still photo to capture video that way.
Absolutely,
like I don't want to do that. It doesn't interest me. What interests me is that different perspective.
Absolutely.
And video. And it's not a super elevated perspective either. It's maybe just, you know, 10 to 15 feet up. And I mean, especially here in the desert, these beautiful mountains that surround Las Vegas. I mean, just a little bit up. I mean, it's the most incredible composition. It's so cool.
It is. Okay, so drone nerds, if you're out there, drone nerds. Emily's looking for some help. So Emily Wilson Photo.
Oh, so on Instagram, EW Photo, and then EmilyWilsonPhotography.com, and there's a way to message me right there.
And I want to say hello to my friend Shatoya, who just joined us on the Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. So I think that's what it says. I don't have my glasses on. My vision is getting very terrible.
Yeah, I see Shatoya.
Shatoya, all right. Yeah. So, speaking of shifting perspective, speaking of the desert, speaking of kind of how beautiful Las Vegas is, because it's beautiful in a lot of different ways, you're very focused on downtown, or you're very interested in downtown.
Right.
What have you learned about Las Vegas, and specifically downtown as a community, from being behind the camera and telling the story, and not necessarily being part of the story?
Right. Well, so we got here about 6 years ago, and there was a real different energy. There was a lot more people, right? Just here doing, you know, in the tech scene, and the people that have stayed, and the people that have evolved with as downtown is evolving, those people that are still there evolving with it. It's made everybody, I think, a tighter knit. But I think I even found that when we first moved here, there was this sort of shared, this immediate friendship because of this shared experience we were having of like, this is crazy. We're just, we've come from all over the country, but we're all here in downtown. Like, did you ever think you'd live in downtown Las Vegas? No. But yeah, when we came to visit, I just saw so much opportunity, and there still is.
I think there's a ton.
There's so much opportunity, and I mean, just with the work that I do, whether it's downtown or wherever it is on the valley, it is an environment where if you have an idea and you can articulate what it is and who you want to do it for, those people are absolutely accessible in getting your idea to them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you've been doing this a while.
Yes.
You talked about starting out as a viewfinder kid on a film camera. You started with a Canon AE1. I didn't have an AE1. I had a Nikon, but I had a couple friends in my photography class in 9th grade who had Canon AE1s. What have you learned? Tell us about how the change in technology has impacted you as an artist. Tell us what you've learned over all that time.
So let's see. You don't need the fanciest camera to take the best picture. And it's really fun to try out different, like with the drone, and then the next thing that I want to get is like a gimbal that you can put on your iPhone.
Okay.
And I want to try that out. But yeah, really, with cameras, it comes down to the lens, how much you spend on the glass of a lens. But you don't need to spend so much money. You just have something that you can make a composition with, and then just build from that.
Someone who's getting started today,
yeah,
where would you have them start in terms of gear? I mean, would you just have them start with their phone and just mess around? And
no, I would have them pick up a camera.
Go buy the most expensive camera you can find, because that's what we do in America, and all of the lenses that go with it.
No, don't do that. No, spend your money on trips to then take your camera and go. So I would get a 24-70 lens. I know that's a Canon range. I'm not sure what it is on Nikon.
But that's like a basic lens, right?
Yeah.
That's not a real big zoom. That's not a wide angle. That's just like a basic lens.
Yeah, it's just a great workhorse lens. And
and our friend Steve Haas, who we met through, is online. He's watching, and he commented that you are the best photographer in Las Vegas. So thank you for watching, Steve, and thank you for confirming what we all already know, that she is the best photographer here in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So what's the next piece of gear you're going to get?
What about lighting?
What about lighting? You want to talk about lighting? We got a couple minutes. We can talk about lighting.
Yeah. Steve just asked about lighting. So with lighting, Las Vegas is so incredible for lighting.
That's why I live here.
We have sunshine 356 days a year.
Yeah, it's all the days we have. Like the other day we didn't. That was the one we don't get it.
Right. So there's so many ways to work with the light that we have here. And yeah, don't go buy lights. Use what we've got, and then I think you need to start small and just fill in a little bit of light where there's shadow.
So it sounds like the idea is learn composition.
Yes.
If I can summarize.
Yes.
Learn composition. Learn to do good composition with the lighting you've got. And then as you start to develop that artistic eye through practice, which you will, everyone can develop through practice. You can say, if I had a little more light here, it could be just that much better. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yes, exactly.
So,
yeah, and there's I use this setup. It's so lightweight. It would not work in a super windy outside condition unless you had an assistant to hold it.
Okay. But
Paul C. Buff, they make really inexpensive, lightweight equipment, and yeah, anybody starting out, I would say go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff you can get to kind of go get started, learn composition, learn the skills, learn the fundamentals is what I'm hearing. And then as you start to flex your artistic muscles, which is where we started the segment, as you start to flex your artistic muscles, start to add in the things that'll make it just a little bit better.
Right. And what's really great actually is that there's so much information that photographers are sharing now.
Okay.
Right? Which when I came up, you really just had to, like physically see a photographer, work for them, and figure out how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go online and there's there's tons of information out there. So I think the more that we share,
Mm-hmm.
the better we all get, whether that's about lighting or business or all the aspects. It benefits us to talk and share.
Yeah, I mean it's that rising tide lifts all boats kind
That's
of
right.
thing, right?
Exactly.
So what's a great resource someone getting started or someone who's kind of playing around with this can use? What's something you go use, or if they're different, what's a great resource to get started, and then what's a great resource that you use
So for business, would you say?
for photography, business, whatever you want to share? We got time. We got another segment coming, so.
So let's see. Oh gosh. I don't really know. I'm trying to think. Well, so there are. I know in Las Vegas here there is a photographers Facebook group,
Okay.
and they are super helpful with knowing whether or not you can shoot in different places.
Okay.
If you need a permit. So that's sort of like in an area where you're like, oh, I wonder, wonder if I have to get a permit to shoot in front of the Smith Center. Yeah, everybody's super helpful on that.
Great.
There's also, they sell gear on there, and there lots of people are like looking for a second assistant or a second camera. Weddings are obviously very huge here.
Yeah,
So,
we do a little bit of that here.
so weddings and events, and there's a Facebook group for that is like, hey, I need help on Saturday, and here's the rate,
Okay.
And so I think working alongside a photographer who's been in the business for a while is the best way to learn.
Yeah, and that's not just if you want to be a photographer. Mentors are great no matter what business you're in. So
That's right. Emily,
we're going to close out this segment. We're going to have you back after a little break, but tell everyone where they can find you again.
Okay, so new website just launched, EmilyWilsonPhotography.com, and you can find me on Instagram at EWPhoto.
All right, thank you, Emily. We'll have you back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
I'm Jason LeDuc from Evil Genius Leadership Consultants. This is Geeks Are Sexy, 4th Friday of the month show. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Gene Woods Racing Experience, named for the racing veteran and 3-time champion, packs big racing action into extremely fast, high-performance karts that let you battle the other competitors side by side, just inches off the ground. Though the Las Vegas Strip provides a glittering backdrop, to the drivers at Gene Woods Racing Experience, the blinking lights are all a blur. Behind the wheel of the high-performance karts, you'll zip around the half-mile track at speeds faster than other standard racing karts' top speeds. Drivers learn to commandeer the speedy karts through an instructional video before they are let loose onto the curving track for 10 heart-pounding laps. We are located at 121 East Sunset Boulevard in Las Vegas, Nevada.
You know what? It's time to go racing. Let's get her done!
Hi, I'm Daylin Woods. Welcome to Woods Family Sandwiches. I've always had a passion for food. When I lived in England, I owned my own restaurant. Then when we moved back to the United States, an opportunity came to open a sandwich shop, and I just wanted to get back into it. We have here at Woods Family Sandwiches wraps as well as salads and soups. We offer only the finest ingredients to our customers. We have boar's head meats and cheeses. We have fresh bread, fresh produce, great soups daily that we prepare for our customers, kosher whole pickles, Deep River Kettle One chips. We have a variety of wraps, or you can make any sub a wrap, any sub a salad. Come on in for our daily specials. We are located at 931 American Pacific, number 106, Henderson, or call us for your deliveries or pickups at 702-826-2230. Here at Woods Family Sandwiches, we're family owned and operated.
We are looking forward to seeing you.
Welcome back. I am Jason LeDuc from Evil Genius Leadership Consultants. This is Geeks Are Sexy, fourth Friday of the month, talking about business and how to be successful here in Las Vegas. We're back with Emily Wilson of Emily Wilson Photography. We've talked about all kinds of things. We were talking about drones before. It turns out producer Nick knows a little bit about drones, so he was given some advice, and they were swapping some stories while we were on the break. Before I throw it out to you guys from now on, I'm going to ask producer Nick for some help. But that's my mistake, that I should have done that myself. So really what your job is about, in my opinion, is about sharing stories and sharing experiences.
That's right.
What are the kinds of things you're thinking about when you're behind the camera about how you're going to share this experience and make this experience connect with people you may not even know are going to see it?
Right. So I'm always looking for the moment of, why would somebody care about this? So I'm trying to find that moment. And then why somebody would care about it, and then, you know, is this perspective into this person, this window of this world? Yeah, I don't know. Whether it's boxers or racers or the Justice Stiglitz, who I was profiling her at work. You know, you just have a feeling about.
It's an intuition.
Right.
An intuition you develop over time. It's not something you're born with, I would guess. It's something you develop over time. Of there's something special about this person. There's a why would someone care about this, and it's hard to describe. You know, given some time and a couple of drinks, you could probably sit down and write out a list of, these are like, if I really had to think about it, these are the things I'm looking for, right? If someone said you got to teach a class on this, you could do it, but it's something you develop over time as a photographer, as an artist. It's not something that not very many people are born with, I would say, I would guess.
Well, and you have to be a good listener. So, you're a good listener and then patient. So you have to build that trust so that you can kind of see that deeper story, and you can photograph, in places where they just think it's mundane, but it's actually a moment that you're seeing in a different way, and that you realize other people can connect with. And it's just sort of that, like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I'm not the only one, that is, doing it this way, making these choices, and this person is been successful at it, and okay, let me just stay the course.
So cool. I thought of a question while you were talking about that. We talked about lighting a little bit earlier, and we talked about trying to capture that perfect moment, right? Have you ever had, I know there are some photographers who they'll go back to a place day after day after day trying to get that perfect shot, get that lighting just right, especially in nature photography.
Right.
Have you ever had an experience like that where you've had to say, it's not right today, we got to come back tomorrow?
Well, unfortunately, because I photograph people and their schedules are the main thing that I'm always working around. No, I can't go back, but I can, what I will say I think about every shoot is, okay, I'm just gonna take a couple more, and then we're like working 10 more minutes. Like when I say, okay, we're about done, like just gonna take it, like no, we're actually not about done. Because
we have a lot more work to do.
Yeah, as soon as I say that, I sort of, this Rolodex of like images just flips in my mind of like, okay, what have I captured? What have we covered? If we covered everything, if I'm able to, I'll check the notes that I've made about what I want to, what I want to capture in this shoot. And I always want to go above and beyond what an assignment is, what a job is, and so I just really will keep shooting until either the light's gone, or
they just can't do anymore.
Or right, or it's just or the moment is gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever have trouble? Because we're all conscious of our self-image. Do you ever have trouble with your subjects, especially like portraiture kind of stuff, getting them to relax and really be themselves?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. So my favorite thing to do is to, when I walk into to a location for a shoot, I never walk in with my camera. I walk in, I'm not holding anything, and I really try to just engage with the person on a human level, not necessarily talking about the weather, but just really just putting aside any sort of big personality or whether it's a big personality or whether it's somebody that's really nervous. If I walk in not as somebody who's going to immediately start taking pictures, but as just another person who's like, down to earth, I'm easy to talk to, I really do, and with the stuff that I do, I really do care about meeting the people that I do, and whether that is an assignment or a personal project. So I always want my my genuine interest in what we're doing to come out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I imagine sometimes the person paying you to take the pictures is not the person you're taking the picture of, and that can lead to some of that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I always just try to connect.
It's very cool.
With the person. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's shift it into a little bit of the business mode, since this is a business show after all. What's a tough decision you had to make with your business? Ooh. And how did you work your way through that?
Well, like you said, how we met at our friends.
At Steve's. Hi, Steve.
Yeah.
And Alex, I saw you. I didn't forget about you there.
So we met at a Think Global event, and so Think Global really helped me edit out the stuff that I didn't want to shoot, which meant pushing to the side clients that were making requests that I didn't want to do.
I get it. I've been there.
Yeah, and so I think some of the hardest stuff is not doing the things that are that happen every day in Las Vegas. You could be such so busy doing all kinds of stuff that you don't want to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So really honing in on what it is that drives you, what keeps you passionate in those moments where it's a 10-hour day, and then you have to turn around a quick edit for the client that night. When you get home, and it's a 15-hour day. You have to love what you do.
That's awesome. So, speaking of pushing the things to the side that we don't want to do and bringing in the things we do want to do, what's coming up for you? What are the projects you're excited about working on for the next few months?
So, I've got some stuff going on with the boxing. Some friends that were amateurs are turning pro, and they're having some big fights. So I'm gonna try and just really work and get those shots outside of the gym. We've got some really cool stuff coming first of the year with Meow Wolf. Did you know Meow Wolf?
I don't.
They're out of Santa Fe. They do immersive art experiences. And so they're going to be bringing something to Las Vegas next year, and they've contacted me about documenting a lot of the artists that they're going to commission and their process and their community engagement that they're going to have. So super excited about that.
That sounds exciting, yeah.
Yeah, and then I've got my list of entrepreneurs that I'm going to tell their stories and
That's
get
great.
them out there.
We need that here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So, and all of that just keeps me moving in the direction that then assignments come that complement that.
All right. So, before we go, we're wrapping it up, but who are you looking to connect to in the Las Vegas community?
Oh my goodness.
I told you, I don't always use the ones on the sheet. I come up with stuff as we go.
So I did, a few months ago, I did some behind the scenes stuff for UFC.
Okay.
And that was incredible. So I want to do more of it. I think they just haven't figured out what to do with me. Because I'm like, I want to do everything, but when they're in the octagon.
Okay. All right. Dana White, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Or somebody who knows him, because I don't.
Yeah. I just, you know what, it really is anybody who is looking to get that behind the scenes look. One of the things that I love about that work is my ability to sort of, you know, chameleon into the environment, and that they forget that I'm there.
So that's very cool. That's not always the case. So
Right.
so that's great. So tell us one more time. Tell UFC how they can find you, so you can come do this behind the scenes stuff for them.
That's right. So EmilyWilsonPhotography.com, and on Instagram, EWPhoto.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Emily. Thank you for rolling with the punches and doing the whole show with me today.
My pleasure.
So it was my pleasure as well. This was a lot of fun. I'm Jason LeDuc. This is Geeks Are Sexy. I'm from Evil Genius Leadership Consultants, so check us out, and we will see you next month. I don't remember the date. Look it up. Be back here 4th Friday next month. The future is out there. Lead the way.
Bye.
Gene Woods Racing Experience, named for the racing veteran and 3-time champion, packs big racing action into extremely fast, high-performance karts that let you battle the other competitors side by side